May I ask everyone to come and sit down, please? We're getting ready to start. I know that our candidates have a lot to say, so we want to start on time. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to welcome you all here tonight, public and candidates alike, on behalf of the Fleetwood Citizens Society. My name is Roberta Gorman. I'm on the board of the Society, along with many others here, which I will introduce in a moment. The Fleetwood Citizens Society works to maintain a high quality of life in Fleetwood and Mount Vernon and protect the rights, health, safety of its residents by keeping them informed on vital issues and advocating with government and justice officials for conscientious stewardship and responsible, sustainable development. We seek honest dialogue with the Mount Vernon government in order to promote fairness and transparency and to help guide policymakers in becoming more responsible to the communities they serve. My first thank you is to David Albert at the Riverside Chapel for once again letting us use this terrific facility. Thank you to Mr. Andre Wallace for letting us use his audio equipment for the candidates. The objective of this forum is to help the citizens make informed decisions about who our next mayor should be. I'd like to introduce the board. John P. Giovanni. Angela Mazzella. Barbara George. Andy Gibbs. Rob Ike. And Angela will be our timekeeper for this evening. Now I'd like to turn the program over to our moderator, Peter Platty.
Welcome candidates, welcome everyone to this forum. I'd like to thank the Fleetwood Citizens Society for asking me to moderate this event. We're going to get started right away. The first thing I ask is that if you have cell phones, please silence them. We are going to introduce the candidates in order on how they are seated, and that's based on numbers that they drew when they got here. Questions are formulated by the Fleetwood Citizens Society members and community members. The expectation is respect for all the candidates as well as your fellow citizens in this room. So please no call-outs, positive or negative, and maintain a level of respect for the candidates in particular. The rules for the evening are as follows. Candidates should numbers to see their position and make their opening statement. Responses to the questions will be rotated among the candidates. So the opening statement, Mr. Young drew number 1, so he will be the first to make the opening statement. Followed by Ms. Thompson, and so on. Then the first question will be answered by whoever drew number 2, in this case, Ms. Thompson. And questions will be addressed to all candidates by the moderator. No candidate will be singled out to the end to answer the question. There will be a timekeeper in the front row, Andrea. She will hold up a sign when there are 15 seconds left before time expires, before the candidate remarks. Time will start when the candidates begin their remarks. Opening statement will be 1 minute. Each candidate will get 2 minutes for their remarks for each formal question. They can use that time to either answer the question directly or respond to what other candidates have said. I'm sorry? 1 minute for opening, 2 minutes for each remark, and then the candidates will adjust their, have a closing statement. That will be 2 minutes, and that will be in reverse order. So Mr. Davis will start first, Mrs. Walker, and so forth. So with that being said, we're going to begin with our opening statements. We ask you to take your opening statements from the table, from your seats, and we will begin with Mr. Young.
I will be the first to say that everything at Mount Vernon is not wrong. The city continues to be pregnant with possibilities because of you as a people. But I have to say that the city bus of leadership that we are on has run out of gas. We pushed the OnStar system because we have traveled a road that has been rough and dusty. So we find ourselves stuck at the boulevard of a pipeline, the gas pipeline. We find ourselves stuck at the intersection of high crime. We find ourselves stuck because we've run out of new ideas. We find ourselves stuck because there seems to be a true lack of vision. It is time that we move this city on. Let's switch buses. Let's move towards the 21st century.
Good evening, United States Senator Ruth Hassan Thompson. Very pleased to be here this evening to have the opportunity to address you as a group and to give you an idea of some of the things that I believe need to happen in the city of Mount Vernon. I agree that everything is not wrong, but there are too many things that are not right. We have systems that do not work. We have systems that don't connect to anything that makes sense. When our citizenry comes to City Hall to be served, they are disserved with attitude and poor performance. When we look at our tax base and how it has eroded and how we are continually thinking that the only way that we can revive it is by more taxation, it's time to put a stop to it. And I'm here to hopefully change directions. Thank you.
My name is Richard Thomas, and I'm your sitting council member, and I was born and raised in Mount Vernon. I went to all public schools, Trapehagen, Davis, Mount Vernon High School. And I'm a father, I have a 2-year-old son. My wife is expecting, she's here in the front row. And my family is aging on both ends of the spectrum. And I look around and see ourselves under attack by our sidewalks and the potholes in the streets. And these problems are all known, and they've been here for almost 2 decades or more. So I'm stepping up to take back Mount Vernon, to give back Mount Vernon. And there's been a lot of talk about my age. And I want to make sure everybody hears and understands that my age is an advantage. It's an open opportunity, an open invitation for long-term continuity. And I think that when you take a look around and assess my qualifications to run this city, I think the best one is I can recognize a bad deal when I see it. And you have to look too far across the street. It's called 42 Broad Street.
Hello, my name is Deborah Reynolds. I'm councilwoman for the city of Mount Vernon. I've been here all my life. The taxes are constantly spiraling up. There's over 400 homes in foreclosure currently. Mount Vernon doesn't need someone who can, they need someone who will. I am the person that is here that can lower the taxes in the city of Mount Vernon to help the people with the infrastructure that's been deteriorating for years, many years. We don't have the quality of life that we deserve in Mount Vernon. It's time for the change. I'm the change. I'm the progressive change in Mount Vernon that will lower the taxes, fix the deteriorating infrastructure, and give the quality of life to the people of Mount Vernon that they deserve. Thank you.
Good evening to you all. First of all, let me thank the Fleetwood Citizen Society for hosting this, and thank you for being here. My name is Maureen Walker, and I'm here to ask you to elect me as your next mayor. And here is why. I am an ethical, qualified, and experienced leader who has spent over 20 years as an elected official. I will not be a rookie, since I know what it takes to run Mount Vernon government. I know what every department does, how they do it, why they do it, and the cost of doing it. I am capable of reducing the burden on the taxpayers. I know how to reduce spending and trim the budget. As a public servant, free of scandal, and knowledge of the shortcomings of our current mayor and our past mayor, I am prepared to fix the errors of that administration. By the end of this debate, I hope that you will elect me as your mayor. New leadership for positive change. I bring you Maureen Walker.
My. I've heard it all. When I left office in 2007, we had $26 million in surplus. I come back and we're $4 million in the hole. You ask for a change, you got to change. You got all of the programs that we care about have been either discontinued or ignored. Right now, we have 4 major projects that is going to generate monies so that we operate the city in a more equitable manner. People will talk about what they will do. I'm here to tell you what I have done. You can look all over the city, whether it's Sanford Boulevard or whether it's McCrescent Parkway or 3rd Street. Wherever you look, you can see the imprint of the leadership that I've provided. You can also see what happened when I wasn't here to carry on. Thank you.
We ask that because there's a few questions here that everybody maintain for the time limit, please respect the time limit. The first question is Ms. Thompson. You have 2 minutes for this question. The question is, Mount Vernon taxes have risen at an alarming rate in the last 4 years. What is your economic plan to decrease taxes and bring jobs back to the city? Ms. Thompson.
You need us to stand?
It's your goal.
Somehow I think you can hear me better in the back if I do stand.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Since 2011, the taxes in the city of Mount Vernon have spiraled up 18%. There's no one here that can afford to continue on that kind of cycle. But even if we could, we deserve better service than we get for those kinds of taxes. Our school district, everybody here wants to deny that because they're the mayor, they have a responsibility to the school district. You can't afford to ignore what's happening in the school district. Because if you're advertising your city, the thing that people with school-age children want to know, after the taxes, what are the schools like? And we have young people who are refusing to come to the city, or they are fleeing the city. I'm one of the few people who not only has lived here all her life, but I know every nook and cranny of this community. I go from north side to south side. Some of the people here have never been to the north side, don't know where half the streets are. But I go and I look and I pay attention, because when you serve a city, you need to see what's happening in all corners. And I talk to people, they talk to me, because I shop in the local stores, and the things they tell me are the taxes are killing us. Well, part of it is because we're dependent totally on residential property taxes. And we're not doing enough to ensure that we have a balance between light manufacturing and our commercial. Yes, we have the Sanford Boulevard corridor, but that's not the only corridor that needs to be developed. We've heard a lot of talk and we've seen a lot of pictures about what development could happen. Well, I left here 16 years ago to go to the state senate. Most of those were on the drawing board when I left. Tell me why those projects are now just suddenly coming to fruition.
Same question. Yes. Look, the rebirth of our city, and my plan is right here. It's in the back. It's a 5-point prosperity plan for the city. And it's very clear and detailed. And if you go online, you can download the rest. And it basically says we're going to reestablish Mount Vernon as money-earning Mount Vernon, a center for job creation. We're going to support our small and startup businesses with the resources they deserve. We have an IDA that basically keeps no records. No records, it's in our audit. But yet, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars go missing. And we can't even find them. So my opponents may want to talk about what they have done. I can tell you that the lack of clarity around capital, our decisions that we make, chase businesses away. And you can look around, the Bronx, Yonkers, White Plains, have all developed over the past 2 decades. And we seem to be frozen in time. So to put the thaw on our economic slowdown that we've had, we can jumpstart our economy and gain $205 million extra in economic activity if we fill these vacant storefronts, if we partner with our schools to give them some of these zombie homes in collaboration with their efforts to build a vocational school of excellence. That's how we train our kids to be electricians, plumbers, roofers, even architects. And what I can tell you is we can make sure that the homes that our young people build or rebuild get sold and the proceeds go back into the program. That way we don't raise taxes. We have to use what we have. We have to reimagine our resources and leverage them effectively. And one of the things I'll end on is we need to implement a 10-year capital plan. These closed bridges that divide our city should be reopened. And yes, the MTA they found some money. Thank you, Assemblyman Pretlow and Congressman Ingram for pushing that. But one of the things I want to point out is that we have to enable our neighborhoods to direct their dollars and take more command by participating in the budget effectively. But please pick up the 5-point prosperity plan that's in the back.
Mount Vernon taxes have been spiraling up for years. We're currently, believe it or not, more than the 4.2% that the city has put in a budget. Our revenues are overstated. There's over 400 homes in foreclosure. Mount Vernon is in disrepair. As I stated when I came in office as council, I reduced the taxes. The proposed taxes at that time was 10%. I brought it down to 6.15%. And they currently have been going up time after time. Every year the budget's been increasing because the city council, along with the current mayor, has been increasing it. So people continue to lose their homes. Businesses left the city. They're leaving because they can't afford the high rents. The developers that are here are not paying the tax burden. They're getting pilot programs. The city is headed in the wrong direction. I have an 8-year plan. And my 8-year plan consists of lowering the taxes, number 1, fixing the deteriorated infrastructure that we currently have. There's no reason why we have to put asphalt and concrete streets when we're paying the city over $100 million. We're the richest city in Westchester County. $100 million to the city of Mount Vernon with no services. No services. The garbage is not picked up properly. I'm not blaming the guys, I'm blaming the lack of training. We need people in office such as myself that has run a corporation, that knows how to delegate duties and will make the workers work. Police our city. Make sure that we have city police officers on the street to deter crime. This is what we need in Mount Vernon. We need to adhere to the ordinances that are currently here so that people can enjoy their quality of life in Mount Vernon. That's what I will bring. Transparency to where our money is going so that people can live comfortably in Mount Vernon. We are a suburb. We're not a city. We're turning into a city, and that's what we don't want. We don't want development all over Mount Vernon. What is that going to do for us? How is that going to provide a quality of life for us here? Talk about the 42 Broad Street project. That would only be a demise. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, taxes are increasing for two main reasons. There is an inability to reduce the expenses in the budget by our current mayor, and there is a lack of attracting. We cannot attract good economic development to the city. And the reason is because the investors have no confidence in the current mayor and the government. Control expenses, that's the first thing you have to do. And that's my expertise. Every year, I prepare, and my office prepares a budget with a lower tax increase than what is prepared by the mayor. And every year we offer our suggestions to reduce those taxes. Because there's a mayor and a president of the city council who vote on the budget along with myself, every year I am forced to vote against their budget because it's higher. We cannot continue like this. I know what it takes to manage a budget. I've done that over the years after the budget is coming. And I know what it takes to make sure that we cut the corners and still try to provide the services that the people have paid for. We have to attract business to the city, and we have to attract good, sound, sensible business. But the only way that we can do that is if we continue or make that special effort to keep our taxes down. I will continue to work as hard as possible to make sure that taxes are reduced. In my first budget as controller, after having won an election of a 23.9% tax increase, my first budget was 3.24. My second budget that I prepared was 2.24. After that, the budget was taken away from the controller's office. Hence, we saw the increases in taxes.
I don't believe in people. I really don't. You sit here and you listen to all of this that makes no sense. Number one, you have to understand that the reason the locals have to tax. Number one, you should understand that the city operates its government with 26% of the taxes. The other 63% goes to the schools, which the mayor has no jurisdiction over. The state senate should know that the reason that the locals have what they are suffering with is because state mandates. Retirement, health, 207A, 207B, surcharge, no state aid in the last no increase in state aid in the last 6 years. And if the controller is so good, when I left office with $26 million in surplus, why are we $4 million in the hole now? You got to be kidding me. Check the record. The only way that you are going to reduce taxes is to build. Building creates jobs, opportunity. It regenerates a community. It ups the value of your community. You have to build. And we are building. 4 years ago, nothing happened. Now 4 major projects. And you clap the loudest on the one that's going to give you $1 million per year. And we're going to take away a garage that's costing us $100,000 a year and it's inefficient. When are you going to learn?
The question that was asked had to do with taxes, not economic development, not pie in the sky dreams. It had to do with controlling out of just enormous taxes. I'll correct some of the information that was given earlier in just a moment. But let's talk about taxes. Taxes have to do with the preparation of the budget. Between 2007 and 2011 were the worst economic times since the Great Depression. And I brought in 2 budgets that were the lowest in Westchester County. So you talk about taxes, let me tell you what a mayor would do that is competent when it comes to financial management. The first thing, I promise you people, I will never ever send a budget up asking the city council to override the tax rate, which would be 2%. I would never send up and ask them to override that. Every one of my budgets will be under that 2%. I can promise you that. The second thing about a budget now, you have to assess the information that is given to you. Quite frankly, I never trusted the information that the controller set up. It was not credible. You would think that in the 21st century, you should be able to have information about expenditures, about revenues at your fingertips. The controller's office is back in the horse and buggy era. You can't even pay your tax bill online. You can't do other several things that are necessary to have credible information online because she doesn't want to get out of it. The third thing I would assess what I did before. You look at 5 years, you look at the trends, you know where to cut. We cut overtime by 50% during the time that I... Thank you. Thank you.
All right, the next question, again, a 2-minute question. The question, Mr. Thomas, is yours to begin. The question is this. Safety is a major concern for the citizens of Mount Vernon, from rising crime rates to undermanned and ill-equipped fire department. What is your plan to make Mount Vernon safer? Mr. Thomas?
So, based on the information that I received, which I do agree with former Mayor Young, is that the information is suspect. Because when I compared it to the information available on the state's website, this is available in the back, it talks about, this is a document I produced in early July that talks about how we can put more cops and more firefighters on the street. And when you look at our budget, we have the money budgeted to hire more cops and more firefighters. However, there are some agency conflicts. There are, according to Moody's, we have some structural imbalances that we need to correct that result in, guys having low morale, the police department or police officers feeling unsafe because their bulletproof vests are expired. They're still using cars from Police Academy. I don't know how many of you saw that. But we have an opportunity to upgrade to 2015, 2016 Ford Explorers that go about 30 miles a gallon. That would make everybody safer. But for some reason, we continue to use things that are fully depreciated and almost dead. But the bottom line is we can hire more cops, more firefighters with the resources we have. And we do have to question the integrity of the numbers we receive from the city because they are much different than the state. So all I can ask is that one of the things I'll do is make sure I open the books, because the executive branch has the ability to open the books. I'll make sure that we have participatory budgeting, and everybody will end the abuse of mutual aid by hiring more firefighters. And it's been the same problem since 1998. I'm looking at the New York Times. This over-reliance on mutual aid is very offensive. It puts a lot of people, families that are not even in this community at danger, but even people in this community in danger. But we have to upgrade the capabilities, and I'm going to bring in a world-class management team to make sure that we have competence and not nepotism running our city.
The city of Mount Vernon has a fully staffed police department. To continue to hire police officers that we don't need will cost us money. Our police officers need to be able to do their jobs, and that's what they can do. They're waiting for someone to come in to allow them to do their jobs, allow them to police the streets, pound in the park that needs to be there for our children, so our children can understand that our police officers are not there to harm us, but they are there to help us. Our fire department currently is, let me just say, they're not functioning properly right now. And it has a lot to do with the current management. It really does. But we have enough police officers to put out a fire? I'm not sure why storefronts are burning. I'm really not sure why that's happening. Our police department, if they need training, we need to provide it. We are the only places getting mutual aid all the time. All the time when we have a fully staffed fire department. We just need the guys to come to work, pretty much. If they can come to work, then we can get fires put out. If the police department can do their jobs, then we can be safe. That's what we need to do in Mount Vernon. Allow the workers to do their jobs. City Hall is fully functioning. They should be able to do their jobs. We should be able to get permits when we need them. We should be able to have a functioning city. We're paying over $100 million for what? No services. Allow the people to do their jobs. If they cannot come to work to do their jobs and you need to replace them, we need to have a city that we can enjoy, a functioning city, a place that we know that we're going to be safe in. We don't currently have that. And hiring more and more is not going to solve the problem. It's only going to make us pay more and more. We are in dire straits. We need to have a person that understands how to run a corporation. That's what this city is. It's a business. Have people work. Have people understand that you are not here just to sit around. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, let me take this opportunity to just correct a couple of the things I've heard tonight. We talk about the $26 million surplus that was left. There has never been a $26 million surplus. People need to understand, and people in the position of mayor, they need to understand what's the difference between a surplus and a fund balance. A surplus is generated when you have more revenues than expenses, and that's generated. Every single year, my office generates a surplus. And our fund balance is scrutinized by our auditors, who are the outside auditors and the state auditors. So I am telling you that this information we've heard tonight about a 26 million surplus needs to be corrected immediately, and you need to understand how to see it. Secondly, I've heard about the budget and the incorrect information on the budget, and that we don't know how to do a budget in city or in the controller's office. Yet still, when the former mayor took office in 2008, he added to the budget $1.2 million. That's your tax money. And what happened? We had to take it from the fund balance. Let's be truthful tonight. That sent your taxes up by approximately another 2%, because that money came, he took it out of the fund balance, he got the city council to vote on it, and as such, we were $1.2 million poorer. You talk about expenses. You hired an Inspector General who, as of this point in time, has cost the city over $900,000 because he is suing the city. Third, and let me just wrap up. People are talking about transparency. There is a problem when somebody can't read a financial document. Don't need somebody like that in as a mayor. He elects me. I am an expert in
finance. The next 4 years is going to be critical. Now, I don't know what you have heard, but if you glean anything, you know not to vote for any of these people. They accuse each other. One says, I'm young, so vote for me, I got a plan. One says, I'm going to do better the next time if you elect me. And the controller who was with the mayor when all of this was happening, now she wants to be the mayor so she can hurt you more. Now, come on, folks. I don't care whether you like me or not, but I am the best that you have and have been for a long time. There are a lot of people that will kowtow to you and tell you that if you don't, if Bernie Davis loses the election, you will not have this 42 West Broad Street will be built. Well, then you deserve what you get, because that is $1 million in the taxes that will do all of the things they say they want to do. 7, nothing is guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that we're going to leave here tonight. But our best effort is that we have to understand that we are in business. If people are willing to put $100 million into this city to create more jobs and opportunities, to expand the tax base, to expand the commercial entities in here, and we have the temerity to sit here and debate over and over again. So one time by a person that the reason Mount Vernon suffers is because it's too hard to do business here. And if we don't change our modus operandi, you'll be elected people over and over again that will do you no good but harm.
The question, if I remember correctly, had to do with another example, as I talked about the bus getting off course, safety. When I was mayor, fact, Clinton Young reduced the murder rate by 87% in the city of Mount Vernon. I got tired of seeing young black men killing other young black men with the use of illegal handguns. 87% reduction. I fought hard in crime fighting and bringing in technology such as the ShotSpotter. The ShotSpotter has been in Mount Vernon for the past 6 years. New York City is just catching on to it. But now, since I'm out of office, guess what the ShotSpotter is doing now? Collecting dust. Collecting dust. And the ShotSpotter was free. Free. It was through a grant through the county for $4.2 million. We got it for free. That's how we reduced the crime rate. That's how we did more community policing. I initiated that. Then I brought in what I consider to be a great police commissioner. A great police commissioner from the federal government who not only brought his expertise in, but he brought a network in which we were able to get monies from drug busts, federal drug busts, etc. that subsidized the equipment that the controller and the city council refused to pay for or vote for in terms of what they call plate readers. We were able to check people out coming into our city. I said we needed 30, they only gave me 10. Only 10. The question had to do with safety. The fire department was undermanned, needed new equipment. I brought in a new fleet of fire trucks, pumps, and ladders. Sanitation, the youngest truck was 27 years old. No street sweepers. Under Clinton Young, you got that. That's how you deal with the safety in this city.
I appreciate Mayor Young bringing us back on course, but I would have hoped that Mayor Young would have also given me some of the credit. For helping him to reduce crime in the city of Mount Vernon. Along with my legislative colleagues, I created something called the Snug Initiative, which went across this entire state and brought $250,000 to the city of Mount Vernon to implement many of the plans and projects that were put in place. Safety is not just the police department. Safety is about an attitude that the community has. No matter how many police officers we ever have in this city, you're not going to have one-on-one. Everybody's not going to have their own police officer taking care of their household. We are non-participatory in this community. Our safety is not just dependent upon the people who are responsible for keeping us safe, but we're supposed to be working alongside of them. We've gotten rid of the Civilian Academy. We've gotten rid of Neighborhood Watch. We've gotten rid of citizen participation. People pay attention to people who participate. You don't participate, so they don't pay attention to you. Whether they've been the city council members or the controllers. We can all run around and talk about how well positioned our firefighters are. But let me tell you something. Outside of the city, the guys from Yonkers and Pelham come to see me. And they come to tell me that we want to continue to be a mutual aid to Mount Vernon. But things have to change. They have to change because there's a disregard and a disrespect for the work that they do. And people are not respected in this community for the jobs that they do. So you put them in danger. Yeah, no, they don't want to come to work because they're not treated with respect in the work.
The next question is a 2-minute question. Can you settle down, please? Next question is a 2-minute question. Ms. Reynolds will be the first to respond. Question is this. Mount Vernon is plagued with many infrastructure issues such as non-working traffic lights, pedestrian signs, potholes, and antiquated water and waste conduits, which remain unresolved despite repeated requests for repair. What is your plan to address the provision of these essential services in a timely manner?
Yes. I have a plan to fix the deteriorating infrastructure. I have a team of people that want to come in and train our people to do the work. We are paying a lot of money to our workers, and you are correct, sir. Our sewer system is decaying. We're in trouble right now because we had to actually legislate to fix it. It has gotten so bad that it's just, the entire system is deteriorated. And it took years to get there. There's been no maintenance in place. I need to bring maintenance to Mount Vernon. Put a plan in place to curtail things before they start eroding. Like the deteriorated streets that we have right here. There's no reason why the street should look like this. We get grants all the time. The money is not being appropriated for the streets. A lot of people bring funding into Mount Vernon, such as mini grants from the legislator and everyone else. But the money is misappropriated. We're using some type of cheap asphalt because every time we turn around, it keeps coming up. So where is our money going? It's going to waste. The infrastructure, look at the city. We talk about the homes that was taken back in foreclosure. They're deteriorating. Why take them back? Have the people stay in their homes and pay. That way, things are not in disrepair. The city cannot take back homes and fix them. The money's not there. I go back to why take them. We need a tax base. We don't currently have one. If you ask me, I believe we're basically in foreclosure when it comes to, we're in bankruptcy. But there's no money in the city of Mount Vernon. That's why people are being taxed over and over again. That's why it's $100 million needed in Mount Vernon, because there's no money here. And as much as people say we have a surplus, and as much as people say we have money, we don't. I am a financial analyst. I came from the corporate world. I want to, number one, reduce your taxes. People cannot live without the tax cap in Mount Vernon. They can't fix their homes. They can't have the savings. Elect me as your mayor. I will fix this city, and I promise to reduce your taxes.
Let me just piggyback on the safety issue. And I'd like to say that there's several things we can do for safety. Personal responsibility first and foremost. We must be able to educate our citizens and our residents about safety. Let us get our firefighters to go back into the schools and train or teach our children. Let us get smoke detectors distributed to our people. Let us get more grants in order to provide safety training. In terms of the municipal services, I think that was a question. Again, we need to have grants in order to fix our streets. More grants. We need an expert in grant writing. That's what we need. We do get some grants. Let me tell you what needs to be done. We have to spend the money first to fix the streets and then get reimbursed for the grants. Unfortunately, lots of times, we don't have the people to follow up in getting that reimbursement. And I and my office and my chief accountants end up having to do that work. I've been walking the streets for the last couple of months, and every time I walk, you can hear somebody say, my sidewalk needs fixing, my tree needs trimming. They tell me I go back to DPW. Luckily, I work very well with DPW and the other departments. I know how they work. I work with them very well, and so that it gets done. That tree is trimmed, that sidewalk is fixed. It calls for strong management. It calls for a leader who will go out there and get it done, who understands what management is. So I am that leader. I am the person who can get it done. Elect me. I know how to fix these things in the city of Mount Vernon.
When did you decide that you could fix things, because we have $4 million in the hole, so you fixed that quite good. You need money in order to run government. 75% of the budget in any city is personnel. And if you keep cutting the budget, cutting this, cutting that, how do you then manage to run a city? So we agree that the taxes are too high, but we have to go back to what I was telling you before, is that the state is one of the biggest culprits in us not being able to manage much more effectively. I also indicated to you that retirements, 207A, 207C, certiorars, all of those are state mandates. We need a senator that will usher in and protect the city. We don't need the senator to be the mayor. We need the senator to be the senator. Because that's where the problem is coming from. I tried to take over the schools some years ago. because I knew that unless we get a structural viability between the city and the schools, never the twain shall meet. 63%, I have nothing to do with. I don't know what they're doing with over at the schools. So it just makes sense that we're going to have to look back at the structure if we're going to get more monies to fix more streets, to trim more trees, to fix more sewers. There's no way that you're going to fix sewers just out of your common budget. The only way you're going to do it, capital projects, or get aid from the state or federal government. And so understand the connection between what we are and who can support.
The question again has to do with the infrastructure. When I was in office, we did a citywide assessment of our infrastructure. And we found that it could not be repaired in one shot, of course. Case in point, the Randy Daniels housing on 3rd Street was certainly a project that was started by Mayor Davis that I completed. Just like the Atlantic project was started by me, and Mayor Davis will complete that too. We recognize that having a building of that size would have an extreme impact on the infrastructure, particularly the sewers. We decided to sit down with the developer again and have them foot the bill for the repairs to the infrastructure. Now, for a citywide problem, how do we address it? Certainly, again, through capital projects and bonding. Now, understand this about bonding. Bonding is just like a credit card. Like a credit card. You borrow the money, you do the project, and you pay it back over time. Under our controller, our bond rating, which is her responsibility, has gone down. So the more we borrow, the more it's going to cost us to have to pay back. Again, what we borrow is going to cost us a hell of a lot more to pay back under her leadership. So I'm saying to you, I will stand here for the remainder of the evening and try and answer the questions that are before me. I'm not two-stepping. I'm not dodging it. I'm going to stay on point because that's the kind of mayor that you need at this time in the city of Mount Vernon.
Years ago, we talked about what the sewer system in Mount Vernon looked like. And 16 years ago, we discussed, and this was before the economic downturn, we discussed bonding it. And for whatever reason, it did not happen. We have one of the oldest sewer systems in our communities. They tell us we can't afford to pay for it. But we can't afford not to have it. And part of that is because we are not managing well. I'm not going to get in a fight with the mayor and the controller about who makes a better budget. That's not what's relevant. What's relevant is, are we budgeting for the things that we really need? If you tell me that we need 75 new firefighters, because that's what the number seems to be, that's going to cost us $7 million. Now, the question is, can we afford to pay that? The real question is, can we afford not to? When we look at what our infrastructures are, and why our Moody's may not be as high as we would like it to be, the same thing happened in the state. We had debt that we incurred, and that debt had to be paid. But more than that, we had to make cuts that were relevant to the basic needs. There are a lot of waste in the city of Mount Vernon. We got people driving cars and they've got their own gas cards, and I don't You know, I think if you're on city business, you should have use of a car, but you should be signing out, and it should be monitored. Nothing is being monitored in this city. People do exactly what they want, when they want. And there is no monitoring system to naysay how things are expended.
So, with respect to infrastructure, Mount Vernon has among the best opportunities to usher in a new era of new ideas, an era of new opportunities, not just for our businesses, not just for our homeowners, but for our families. And when you take inventory of the infrastructure that is crumbling and costing us and dashing dreams, such as Memorial Field, which is being threatened by the county to be taken over. And I grew up here in Mount Vernon. I played at Memorial Field, and I knew what it felt like and what it meant to leave Traphagen to go to football practice and learn, you know, very basic values, discipline, persistence. Don't give up, don't quit. And to see the field in the disrepair it is in today, it's just a shame, it's a disgrace. And infrastructure is not just about sewers, it's not just about even Memorial Field. It's about making sure we have the right design in government, the right intellectual infrastructure, so we address the issues that are relevant to the community. So think about our parks for a moment. We have to invest in Brush Park. While Memorial Field is shut, that park, Brush Park, has one bathroom that works. It has a slide that's been there since before I was born. And you have a complete gap in our families' opportunities to participate and recreate here in Mount Vernon. So it's more than just what we've been talking about, sewers. We have to also play more offense when it comes to advocating for our infrastructure. When you look at the MTA capital plan, do a word search for Mount Vernon. Go back to 1996. Go forward to date. Mount Vernon is absent. And that's part of the reason why Scarsdale has been able to rebuild their train station, and why Scarsdale has been able to create a whole new park, a whole new downtown revitalization around their infrastructure to bring in jobs, new business, and new activity. And Mount Vernon can do the same. We have to leverage what we have and be more strategic and comprehensive in our decision making. Thank you.
The next question is a 2-minute question. Mrs. Walker, I'm sorry, Ms. Rafferty, the first one. No, I'm sorry, it's Ms. Walker. It is Mrs. Walker. This is the first one. The question is a 2-minute question. And the question is, to all of you, what are your positions on new residential construction without developer-provided parking and the appropriation of municipal parking facilities to supplement private development?
New development must be very sensible, and it must be development that does not compromise the integrity of the residents and their surroundings. In terms of new development, it brings additional things. For example, you have to have more manpower in terms of sanitation, police, fire, the school system, because there are additional children that may have to attend the school system. Development is wonderful, and my vision for the city of Mount Vernon is to transform Mount Vernon into this mini metropolis, attracting investors from Upper Manhattan and other places. But we can only do that if investors have confidence in our government, if investors have confidence in the mayor. That's the only reason we'll be able to attract. Mount Vernon is a densely populated city. It's about 15,700 per square mile, 1,507 residents per square mile. And as such, we have to be careful what type of development we have. Development, again, must be sensibly placed. It must not put our residents and our current businesses at risk. And we have to be able to speak and communicate with the current people, the current businesses, to make sure that what we are doing is proper for them. So, what we have to do is to make sure we communicate with them, get them in the planning stage first, make sure that what is done is beneficial to the city and can bring taxes into the city. That's the number one. If we can get taxes, that's an important thing.
No confidence, but yet we have 4 major projects in 3 years and 8 months. And previous to that, we had none. So I'm trying to figure out how you figure confidence. In the next 5 years, there will be $1 billion invested in this city of Mount Vernon. And how do you come to the conclusion that there's no confidence? I have to relook up the word confidence because it's not gelling with my understanding of confidence. You can talk all you want about infrastructure and all of that, but unless you have the money to put down to effectuate that change, it's not going to happen. I don't care who the mayor is. Now, if we stay on course and learn to understand that we are a business-friendly city, who understands that people come in here with their investment because they believe that they can make a profit, and we believe that because they can make a profit, that we will be better served. You can't have it both ways. In terms of a project must go through many stages. It has to go to the building department, has to get zoning, planning, architecture, board of review, sometimes environmental impact statement, where you look at traffic, you look at all of the profiles that might damage the surroundings that they enter. So we do all of that, and we've done all of that. And people are willing to put their money into the city, but they will never do it if your attitude is such that it is. Nobody on the microphone.
Read your microphone.
I am pro-development, but I'm also smart growth development. We cannot haphazardly put around 4 or 6 or 8 projects and say that it's good for the city without a concrete plan. I came up with a master plan for growth of this city in the second year I was in office. Now, before I got to office, Mr. Davis had been in office for 12 years. He prides himself on being an architect and a planner. The fact of the matter is, we had not had a master plan in this city since 1964, and that was before man walked on the moon. So we put together a plan which was inclusive of every entity in this city. If you were here last week, you were told a great untruth by 2 people running for the city council, stating that there was no school input. In fact, the schools had a representative that was on the core committee coming up with this master plan. Now, let's talk about development and confidence and all these other words that are being thrown around. When you can build something in Mount Vernon and get a 20 or 30-year tax break, who the hell is paying for it? Who's paying for it? Who is paying when the school's population increase? Who's paying for the more cops and sanitation and fire protection? Who's paying for it? You! So don't be hoodwinked, bamboozled, and don't say you've been had. I'm telling you the truth. It's far greater than what's being explained to you tonight. I'm trying to keep on point once again. These pilots are killing us. They are killing us. I am pro-development, but let's do it right, where it doesn't fall on your backs.
I don't think any of us are against development. But I think that in the few conversations that you've heard me have since I've announced my interest in running for mayor has been calling for a master planner. Because there's a difference between having a master plan and a plan. This city is run by the developers. They come in and they determine what they want to build. I heard people say tonight they want a mini metropolis. Well, people didn't move to Mount Vernon to be a metropolis. You want a metropolis? 26 minutes from here is New York City. All metropolis you want. People have come and chosen to come to Mount Vernon because it has the feel and the sense of a suburban town. That is deliberate and intentional. And it does not mean that we can't have progress, but it does mean that when developers come, they need to have an overall plan that they work within so that they understand that what is being built is in the best interest and the desires of people in the city. The lack of vote of confidence is real. The mayor can tell you about these 4 projects that he's done within 3 years. But there's not one project except for the Modern that was not on the drawing board 10 years ago. Tell me why, again, I continue to ask the question, did it take him 4 terms to get 4 projects developed and off the drawing board and get shovels in the ground? And part of that is not because people don't have confidence, but because they are afraid to make the kinds of investment because they've been lied to. And getting through this system, remember I told you, the system is broken. The systems don't work in Mount Vernon. And so if it takes you, if you want to put solar on your house, it takes you a year to get all the paperwork and all the inspections done just to do solar. So think what a multi-million-dollar project will cost you. Thank you.
The question's about your position on development. Is that? Just want to make clear.
So the question was, what are your positions on new residential construction without developer-provided parking and appropriation of municipal parking facilities to supplement private development?
Okay, right. I just want to make sure I heard that right. We have to be more responsible with the decisions we make and the projects that we negotiate. And you can see what's going on down at the Circle is an example of a badly negotiated development where we have no mitigation fund set aside for the businesses that lost access to the parking across the street. The hardware store lost 40% of their business. The Cafe Europa is basically dangling just by serving espressos and cocktails. They can't even serve food because they've lost their ability to have their customers come and conveniently park. So when we give away our parking, we're giving away an asset. And we need to say, 42 Broad Street is the reason why it's an example of a very bad deal, because the parking garage is being given away. And if it did not have value, as was stated, then they wouldn't need the parking garage. They would build it underneath the building. What I believe Mount Vernon needs to do is take another look at restructuring, spinning off the parking, making the parking authority a parking authority, not just a parking garage that is falling apart. Look at White Plains, look at Yonkers, look at New Rochelle. These various communities allow their assets to produce revenue that take care of the asset. That's what we need to do with our parking structures. And what we can do is take cars off of 4th Avenue. We can take a page out of Cross County's playbook. take cars off of 4th Avenue and build up the 5th Avenue parking lot. Because you know why? There's going to be a cathedral there for about 4,000 people to sit. There's going to be no place to park. So we have to build parking lots. And that's what a parking authority will do, and make it more convenient to have businesses park, homeowners park, and make 4th Avenue a destination again. So at the end of the day, we need to be more responsible with the deals we negotiate, and that's why I think 42 Broad Street is a very bad deal.
Subject of 42 Broad Street. 42 Broad Street, there was no one there to advocate for the people when the people came out and said they needed help. When the people said they did not want a 16-story building in their neighborhood that would infringe upon their quality of life. Who was there? Councilwoman Reynolds. I am always there for the people fighting for their quality of life. None of the people sitting here today was advocating for you. They sit here today and say, it's a bad deal. Well, it was such a bad deal, why did you vote for it? Yes. We need to stop. We need to open our eyes to politicians that just want to get in office. We need someone that's going to help us. We need help in the city of Mount Vernon. When you talk about development, we need development that's going to conform to our neighborhood, not just come in and take whatever you want and say you have to accept it. That's what's happening in Mount Vernon. When it comes to building these sky-rise buildings and oh, we're going to make a mini metropolis and we're going to have some kind of cathedral, come on. We need help. Fix the city where it currently is in dismay. The city is falling apart. Look around us. Houses are deteriorating. Properties are deteriorating. Fix that first. What we need in Mount Vernon is a movie theater, a bowling alley, a skating rink, oriented things for our children. We need to have eat-in restaurants. We need to keep the restaurants that we're losing. Why are we losing them due to the high taxes? Bringing in these buildings is not going to do anything but make the taxes higher. How is that going to help us? It's not. Everybody wants to develop. You know what? Help us. We need a mayor that's going to help us with our quality of life, not bring in these massive buildings so developers can come in and just do whatever they want and not be taxed accordingly. It doesn't make any sense. It's not there for us. They will bring in people from other municipalities. It's not for the people in Mount Vernon, all this development that's being brought into Mount Vernon. It's to infringe upon the school system, raise our taxes. The fire and the police can't take care of it. Thank you.
The next question is a 2-minute question, 2-minute remarks. Mr. Davis, you're first. The question is as follows. How do you propose to balance the need to increase the Mount Vernon tax base with community concerns about the potential effect development has on quality of life?
First of all, let me just correct the former mayor.
No. We have to, you have your 2 minutes. You use it now.
Payment in lieu of taxes.
Payment
in lieu of taxes. That's what it is. Everybody pays taxes. So I don't want you to walk away thinking that people come and don't pay taxes. Number one, I indicated to you as number one, every project is scrutinized environmentally, planning, the impact that it makes on the community. So I don't want you to walk away thinking that people just come in, plop down whatever they want to with no scrutiny. There is a basic routine that happens. You come in, you go to the building department, they give you objections. Those objections are taken to various boards. It goes to the planning board, the zoning board, architecture board review, and each one of those steps have people input. So I don't want you to think that that does not have every project, especially if it's not in the right zone, if it needs a variance, that is scrutinized severely. Now, just because you don't like the results does not mean that we haven't gone through the process. We have. And you cannot double talk yourself. You cannot say we need money to fix the roads, to fix the streets, to do all the infrastructure, and then you don't want the developers to come in and bring more money to the table for us to do that. It just makes no sense. So we have to start to understand. Look at White Plains, look at Yonkers, look at New Rochelle. Everybody understands that you got to go up. Mount Vernon is 4.4 square miles. We have to go up. And plus, I like our buildings.
May I have your attention, please? All right. I will reread the question. How do you propose to balance the need for the increase of the Mount Vernon tax base with community concerns about the potential effect development will have on quality of life?
Okay, certainly. Yeah, let's look at White Plains. Yes, let's look at New Rochelle. Yes, let's look at Yonkers. None of those cities that have that type of development have gone up in their taxes close to 30% over the last 4 years. 30% over the last 4 years. If they're doing it, maybe we need to go over there and find out what they're doing it, because they're evidently doing it right or doing it better than we're doing it here at Mount Vernon. I never said that I am anti-development. I said that I am pro-smart growth. Pro-smart growth. You take each and every developmental project, and yes, it has to go through a series of studies, a series of approvals. But how does that equate to the taxes? That's the question. What's the corresponding benefit? We, of course, have to make a deal attractive by offering a pilot, but we do not have to give away the city. We do not have to give away the city. We can, again, have a corresponding, immediate, and positive impact on our tax base if the pilots are negotiated right. You can't do it for 30 years and expect to have something positive coming to your tax base. It doesn't take 30 years. I can see 10 and some projects that may be a little larger, 15, but not 30 years. The infrastructure didn't start deteriorating yesterday. Okay? Best Buy and Target. Okay. Thank you.
"30-year pilots. When they built Co-op City, 30 years later, Co-op City was falling apart. When these buildings are built with a 30-year pilot, no matter how attractive the pilot sounds on the front end, they still do not compensate for the loss of taxes on the back end. At the end of the 30 years, where is the developer? And who has the responsibility for those properties? We did that with Petrillo houses. Petrillo houses finally aged out. Many of these projects that were built 30 years ago are all aging out, and all the federal dollars have dried up. We cannot afford long-term deals that are not in the best interest of the city. The math is not working. We need to certainly encourage developers with incentives, but I will tell you something. We have an incentive for them. We're 26 minutes from Grand Central, and if they don't want to build it, somebody else will. Because we are an asset, and if we were not, we would not have people knocking on our doors every day, coming prepared to build. There is a need for confidence in the stability of a government. We don't want to be like many third world countries where people don't want to invest because they're afraid the government is not going to be stable. We have not stabilized our government. We don't have leadership. We have management. And the current mayor is managing. Then why is he paying all these commissions?
I think the right word is mismanagement. But I do want to clear up something very quickly. With respect to 42 Broad Street, you know, development is a discussion with your government. And I voted to start the discussion and make sure the city council retain control of that discussion and not give it to the executive branch. Because as you heard, the executive branch likes high buildings. I wanted to make sure that we can have a very sound, honest, and transparent discussion, and it's been very difficult to do that when some of my colleagues sit there like stuffed animals on tough questions like, how many cars are going to come? There are about 300 people in this room. Did you find parking pretty easy today? Okay, point proven. Now look, I asked this question to President Bill Clinton about 10 years ago, and there's a handout in the back, and he encouraged me to listen to as many people as possible, and that's what I always do. I listen and try and get as much opinions, as much facts as possible, but at the end of the day, make my own decision. And one of the decisions I made with respect to balancing these various interests is to launch 2 initiatives, and it's here in this prosperity plan. One is a healthy homes initiative to combat these zombie homes harming home values. We need to make a program that allows our city workers to be eligible to buy these homes so they don't have to move to Poughkeepsie or move to Cold Spring. And we need to also make a program to attract millennials and also people that are elderly looking to downsize from their homes because these taxes are like a death penalty. We also need to launch a green space initiative to give our citizens a softer urban environment. We need to finish Memorial Field, upgrade Brush Park. And also we need to expand Arts on 3rd to be more comprehensive and not just around election season. We need it to be something where you close off these streets and you can bring people outdoors and have outdoor activities. That way our families can enjoy Mount Vernon again, not be trapped or leave the city every weekend for recreational activities.
That's right.
When we talk about Memorial Field, Memorial Field is in the state that it is because of 2 people, Councilman Thomas and Ernie Davis. Reason being because they both voted to do whatever Mayor Davis wanted to do when the people didn't even have a voice to say what they wanted. It's continuously being taken away from you. When they talk about development, homeowners, beware of the development that comes into this city. Is it going to encompass homelessness, more homelessness than we currently have that we can't manage? More mentally ill? What are we looking forward to? Homeowner, beware of what politicians want to bring into your city and development deals that are coming in. Developers should pay like we do, taxes. Why should you have a pilot program? You have rentals where you're making a lot of money. Why are we currently saying, okay, yeah, we'll have it, you know, a 10-story building, a 12-story building, a 16-story building, for what? It doesn't benefit us. That benefits the developer. What are we getting out of it? Higher taxes, more fire, more police. We have fire, we have police. We need to adhere to what we have right now. Fix the deteriorated infrastructure we currently have. The senator should bring in grants for that, bring in state funding for that. Not run for mayor, do your current job, and then therefore we'll have things done correctly in the city of Mount Vernon. That's what we need. We need working people to do things in Mount Vernon. We don't need to be in the Stone Ages like currently Mayor Davis has us in. Maureen Walker with the lack of computerized systems in Mount Vernon. Councilman Thomas says we need to have millennials. We need to have the city intact. Our seniors need to be taken care of. Our veterans need to be taken care of. We need to take care of the people that are currently here first, and then we'll worry about something else later. Thank you.
I've been asked to repeat the question. The question is, how do you propose to balance the need to increase the Mount Vernon tax base with community concerns about the potential effect of development has on the quality of life?
First of all, the development. Let's talk about the development that is coming into the city, which I said before should be sensible development. In order to attract business here, we know that we have to keep our taxes down. In order to keep your taxes down, you have to control your expenses. That's number one. You have to be able to increase your revenues when they are sensible revenues, not putting revenues like gain on sale or red light camera revenues that you may not generate in a budget, but have a structurally, properly prepared budget. Pilots are payment in lieu of taxes. That means when it's negotiated, you are going to look at what they should have paid for taxes and equate that to what they are paying. And 9 out of 10 times, it's not a wide disparity. What is wrong is that the development that's coming into the city, they are getting too many incentives. Not only the pilots, but they're getting other incentives that they shouldn't get. They should be hiring people in the city of Mount Vernon to finish their projects. They should be giving back to the city. Our developers should be in a situation whereby we're going to tell them, help us to maintain this park. Give us money to conduct certain studies in the city. Give us something for our children, whether it's a park, whether it's a program, let them give back to us because we are continuing to give to them. Again, anytime you want to have a lot of things in the city, you've got to pay for it. We cannot afford to continue to increase taxes in the city. People are hurting. People are losing their property. And then they have to come to my office, and then we have to sit down and make sure that we can help them by doing programs. One last thing I would like to say. Mount Vernon has a fund balance. Mount Vernon is not in a deficit. And I urge you to read the State Controller's papers. I urge you to sit with our auditors. We have a fund balance that is healthy compared to other cities.
The next question, Mr. Young, you're up first. It's a 2-minute question. The question is, how do you plan to improve the communication disconnect between Mount Vernon City Hall and our citizens?
There is indeed a disconnect with the majority of this community. So how does one, as mayor, improve it? When I came into office, I held monthly community meetings in which I brought my commissioners so that they could directly answer questions from the community, because not all people can go to City Hall between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30. We did that for about a good 3 years, and we improved the communication. The other thing is to restoring the faith in government so people come out and they feel that they can come out. One of the things that I felt, and again, falsely accused of, was when someone said that I made City Hall like Fort Knox. Every municipal building needs to have security. When you go to City Hall in New Rochelle, there's security. When you go to City Hall in White Plains, there's security. You know, so that was something along with Homeland Security that we had implemented long after 9/11. Those were the things. And the fact of the matter is, I didn't even get the metal detectors They were ordered and delivered under Ernie's previous administration. They were just there collecting dust, so I put them to good use. I put them to good use because that was mandated. So I'm saying to you, getting out into the community, and in fact, I'll take it one step further. You got to be honest with people. They're not looking to get the runaround. People are hurting. These taxes are killing us. It's breaking our backs. People are hurting. They want real and direct answers, and they want it to be honest and sincere. Honest and sincere. And show some compassion. And that's not what we're getting today. In fact, when a lot of you go outside, you're going to have tickets on your car if you parked in the parking lot. You see? Now, what kind of communication is that, knowing that there's a mayoral debate and they got people outside giving you tickets?
I've been asked to read the question once again. The question is, can I have your attention, please? This is the last set of questions before we get closing statements, so we got to make sure everybody has. So listen, here's the question again. So get your attention, please. The question is, how do you plan to improve the communications disconnect between Mount Vernon City Hall and our citizens?
When we run for election, there is certainly a certain level of discord that exists between one community and another, depending on who supported who. But it is my belief that once the election is over, it's then time to govern. And in the process of governing, I may not forget what you did to me or said to me, but I take the oath of office very seriously in terms of how you are served. When I went to the Bronx, I only represented 16% of the district where I lived. 84% of the district was in the Bronx. And there were people who hated the idea that somebody from Mount Vernon controlled that district. I want to tell you that some of those people who hated me then are my best cheerleaders now. And they are because there was money that was set aside by the prior administration. I could have taken that money and redistributed it to my friends. I didn't choose to do that. These were programs that had been committed to that community. I made sure that they got their money. Communicating with people is one of the most important things. There were 67,000 people that live in the city of Mount Vernon. I would like to believe that 30,000 of them at least know who I am. That's a start. And I'm working on the other 37,000. Primarily because I shop here. I do cleaning here. My cleanings are here. I do laundry here. And because I am here and accessible, people see me. And that would not change when I become mayor. My staff will hate it because they think that I'm too accessible. But accessibility says I live among you and have some of the same issues of surviving this community that you do. I paid $9,600 in 2005 for the taxes for my house. Today I pay $18,000. Do you think that I am not suffering some of the same instances that you do?
So to improve the disconnect between communications in the city, the government, and the public, one of the first things that I want to say is leadership is about action, not title or position or a shop. Leadership is about always asking the tough questions and not being afraid of those consequences. And I've asked tough questions, including the legitimacy of our mayor. It's a fact. It's a fact that there are some real deep agency conflicts in our city. So one of the things that I have to just point out is that everybody up here has been silent on that issue. And these are things that we have to confront because we have some real deep problems here in Mount Vernon. And we can't tolerate rhetoric. Bottom line, the way we can improve these communications by being honest. And we can fix that communication problem by having the money we receive from FiOS and Cablevision to actually go to our broadcast network, the public access television. And if you look at Brooklyn, Roxynet, right next door, they have amazing programming that invites kids to come and enjoy after-school programs, teaches them opportunities in digital media and broadcast media, and gives them things to do to keep them off the streets. This is how we begin that process of making sure we communicate clearly and effectively with our community. We also have to do the work. And Mount Vernon has done some good work with the planning board. They negotiated 24 miles of fiber optic cable in the city. It can provide free public Wi-Fi. We have to hit the switch. Think about that impact on families that have toddlers like me, or teenagers that use your cell phone and go over your data plan. These are things that can save you up to $75, maybe $100 a month, depending upon how you use the resource. So we can clearly communicate. We have the money to do it, but for some reason it never makes it to its intended purpose.
When it comes to transparency, you need a mayor such as myself that will talk to you. I love my community. I've been here all my life. I understand the dynamics of what is taking place in the city. How many people are losing their homes due to high taxes. I understand those things. You have to be able to say enough is enough. How do you continue to raise the taxes when people are losing their homes? You need a mayor that's conscious of that. How do you have the streets in disrepair and not fix them properly? You have to be conscious of that. When development needs to be done in Mount Vernon, you need to have a mayor to say to the people what's happening. Transparency. So people know what's coming before you just have a hearing to say, this is what we want to do. And Mount Vernon is a beautiful place with beautiful people. Everyone here wants to live comfortable. This is a server. This is not a city. We have beautiful homes in Mount Vernon that need to be repaired. Why can't we have the homes repaired? Why are we always talking about bringing in development over and over again? A master plan is a plan that fixes what we have here. Brings in more amenities, like the movie theaters our children need, the roller skating and movie theater, things like that, things that I had. I grew up in the 80s. We enjoyed life. Life is for the living, not for the suffering, and people in Mount Vernon are currently suffering. Let's think about a mayor such as myself that's going to do the right thing for you. I provide transparency. I have integrity. I will never sell you off to the highest bidder. It's not in me. I am here to reduce the taxes. I am a mayor that will fix the deteriorated infrastructure. I am a mayor that will have an open door policy for people to know what's happening in this city. This is what I will provide the people of Mount Vernon. Please elect me. Thank you.
I think the question is about communication. Well, I've been in office for over 20 years. And during those 20 years, I have always had an open door policy. It's a policy by which you don't have to make an appointment to see me. You can come right to my office and see me at any point in time. And I will sit with you and I will go through your issues and I will go through the things that you need to know about. Open door policy. That's what an elected official needs to do. As mayor, I will continue to do the things that need to be done to serve my community. Over 20 years, I've had a newsletter. This newsletter brings information to the residents of the city. As mayor, I will continue to have that newsletter, whereby I will have input from all the department heads so that the people of the city can know what is being taking place in the city, They can know what is happening in City Hall. Here's the sanitation schedule. This sanitation schedule can be improved considerably because at the back of the sanitation schedule, which will be delivered to every single home and every single resident in the city, you can have information about fire prevention, you can have information about police and safety behind this. The website needs to be updated, and the website can give you as much information as possible. Social media is another form of information that you can have, so that you can have as much that you need. Periodic meetings with our department heads and all the civic associations. That is what communication is all about.
I must apologize because I do have several other places to be, but I wouldn't like to. I think we have exhausted, and you should have seen, should have seen the direction. If you believe what you have heard, that would catapult you into the next generation with your head high. If you think what you've heard will attract development and thereby bring more money into the city to do more things, then you certainly should vote for whomever you think. But if you think that we're moving in the right direction, if you think that the roundabout is the right way to go, if you think that Sanford Boulevard is the right way to go, if you think the housing for the elderly is the right way to go, if you think that affordable housing is the right way to go, if you think that market rate housing is the right way to go, if you think that the summer breeze, Arts on Third, all of those things, if you think that that's the right way to go, then you obviously will vote for me. But if you don't, you can take a chance on what you heard. I'm betting that there are enough people here who understands that this is a tough job. It's not for novices. It's not because you're tired of somewhere else to go. It's a tough job. And there are real serious problems. Crime is not just hiring police. Crime is to get into the hearts of the people who are hurting, who feel that they have nowhere else to go. You have to have empathy for the people. I've had that, and most people who even disagree with me know that. I go out to people, and when all of this is over, please let it be said that I understood that we had a date with destiny, and I kept it. Thank you very much, and good night.
Mr. Davis, you're actually the first one up for the closing statement. Are you ready?
All right. Now let's put it that way.
Hold on.
Please.
Hold on. What happens is it's the reverse from what you picked. So, since you went on first, Mr. Young, second, third, and then what you announced it in the beginning was six was voted. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much for attending. Sometimes I'm sure to some of you it's a very painful experience to know that so many people know so little and willing to talk so much. We are in a serious condition. I said when I opened before, that one reason that we lag behind is because of conversations we've had tonight. People have talked this smack, not knowing what they're talking about. People, all you have to do, I'm going to help you with this. Look at their records. not what they say. You look at what they have done to back up what they say. And you look if they have created jobs and opportunities. You look at if they have been able to walk 3rd Street, hug a child, visit people who are sick, go to the weddings, go to places that people never expect you to go. I believe that the mayor should understand that we are in a city that needs a lot of love, a lot of attention, and a lot of belief. Taxes is the easy part. I heard your jocularity proves something, but this is what I know, and this completely went over your head. We have only 26%. 63% we do not control. And you can take all the talk you want to, unless we change that dynamic, we're going to be talking about this forever. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Let me take this opportunity to thank this organization for having this forum. And in the time, I would like to read this statement because I have to go very fast. In closing, let me tell you a story. One of my campaign workers came to me and asked me not to put my academic qualifications on my campaign literature because it may scare some of the voters. And I said to that worker, let me tell you a story. When I was 12 years old, my father passed away and left me with my stay-at-home mother. I struggled through high school, and when I graduated, I went into the workforce to support myself and mother, while many of my friends went on to college. My mother constantly reminded me that I needed to go to college and get my degree. I worked for about 6 years and saved every penny that I could. At my mother's urging, I went on to Brooklyn College and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting, magna cum laude honors. On graduation day, my mother was the happiest I had seen her since my father passed. Shortly after my graduation, my mother went to bed one night and ended up in the arms of the Lord. Her passing motivated me to get my CPA and an MBA and become an adjunct professor at Iona College in the evenings, assisting others, many from Mount Vernon, in obtaining higher education. Ladies and gentlemen, back to the task. I am so convinced that I am the best candidate for the job. The first thing I will do on Thursday, September 10th, is to go out and vote for myself. I am asking you to do the same. Not to vote for yourself, but to vote for me, Maureen Walker. New leadership for positive change. This is the time where you have that opportunity, so that this city can benefit from my expertise. Thank you.
Residents, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about the person you want and the person that's going to be the image and the face of Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon needs a person that has integrity. I have integrity. Mount Vernon needs a person that cares about the tax base. I believe Mount Vernon deserves a tax cap, such as New Rochelle, such as Scarsdale and other places that have the same square footage. Why must we pay over $100 million to a city? What are we getting out of it? We have to think about a person that's going to provide transparency. That's number one. Transparency is the key to living a good life. Because if you don't have that, and there's things that's going on in the I'll say the back room, you'll never know what's happening to this community. The development, people say there's developers that want to buy off Mount Vernon. We already know this, but do we want this? Do we want to pay higher taxes? Do we want to bring more people in the city of Mount Vernon? Are we going to be able to take care of the crime that is happening? Are we going to be able to take care of the homeless that will be infringed upon us? It's not being taken care of now, Mount Vernon. I will provide you transparency. I will provide you a better quality of life. I have the experience to do so. I have the financial experience to lower your taxes. I've done it before. I will do that day one. We deserve the tax cap. People deserve to live. People deserve the savings. Renters deserve a rebate. And so do homeowners. I can provide the city of Mount Vernon that. Memorial Field will be fixed. Fixed correctly and done, not just stated will be done. It will be done under my leadership. I provide good government. Good government. You can talk to me. All of you. All the time. I will make myself available all the time. I am, because of cheaters, I'll say it like that, the residents were cheated out of me being on the Democratic Party line. So I have to run on the conservative line in November 3rd. If you want a mayor such as myself that's going to help you, bring a better quality of life, bring you lower taxes and love you, vote for me. Thank you.
My name is Richard Thomas, and I'm running for mayor because I believe in Mount Vernon. I believe our children are our future. I believe our families are why we work so hard. And I don't know if you've been watching The Bachelorette, but it's obvious that my opponents are here for the wrong reasons. Our families are the reason why we're here tonight. We are concerned about the direction of our city. And when you talk about cheated, you talk about the police officers and the firefighters that are cheated out of their time and their opportunities to have a safe work environment, but also equipment that works and is reliable. We are cheated as a community out of public safety, and we are wasting a lot of dollars. And there are audits by the state controller to show for it, from payroll all the way to the IDA. We're not using the tools we have to improve and uplift all of Mount Vernon. So I'm running for mayor to fix City Hall once and for all. And I'm telling you that competence will be the new bar. I will not hire a pizza man to be our water commissioner. I will not allow people to have no-show jobs. We are going to get City Hall. There are workers that work in City Hall that live in Mount Vernon and have a lot of pride in Mount Vernon. They want to see Mount Vernon work again. We all have fond memories of this city. And I'm speaking from the heart because I grew up here. I was born and raised here, and I'm horrified by what I see. Memorial Field shut, and although the Young administration had a plan, I believe that it was too costly, and we saw what happened in Rockland. They started out with $13 million, it was $60 million. Nonetheless, my view is our future is at stake. You have an important decision to make, and I'm the only candidate up here that has presented a distinctive plan to jumpstart our economy. And I'm going to leverage my experience from NYU Stern School of Business, the #1 school for finance in the planet. So when I'm told that I can't read a financial statement, part of my passion, because I'm passionate about fixing Mount Vernon. And I'm going to bring a modern mindset, fresh ideas, new energy to energize our economy, create a safer community, cleaner community, and make sure that we all can afford to live here for the future. Thank you.
It was intimated earlier that as a state senator, I should stay in the state senate. I take that as a compliment for the exemplary work that I believe that I have done. But I also take it as an insult to believe that anyone is one track. I have developed a capacity not only to do the job of being mayor, but I have demonstrated my leadership ability is in the state government. I have resources that no one at this table has. And people can drop all the names about President Clinton and whoever. Hillary's in my speed dial. if I want to talk about, no, seriously, if I want to talk about the people that I know, I have been invited, believe this or not, September 12th, I've been invited by the UN to go to England with a group of economists to look at the crises that are befalling cities across this country. So I don't come to Mount Vernon to get a job. I come to Mount Vernon to do a job. And I bring the difference that many people here don't have. I could give you a fabulous plan, but that's not what's going to work. See, because reputations are not built on what I'm going to do. Reputations are built on what I've done. If you have doubt about what my capacity is, don't just look at my bio that talks about my years of managerial experience, program designs that I've done across the county of Westchester. As the manager of the CAP agencies, the bills that I have gotten signed into law. In 15 years, there is not a legislator sitting here, including the mayor, that has ever had the numbers of bills signed into law that change structures in the state of New York, including the courts. So when you begin to talk about what you've done, I've done it. And I got the t-shirt to prove it.
When I first got up to address you this evening, I talked about a bus that was stopped, a city bus of leadership that is stopped. I have to tell you this. I'm just so disappointed in the mayor. I am really shocked that Ernie would get up and walk out when the fire was on. That's not what the mayor does. I mean, I had far worse experiences before audience, and I stuck it out. I stuck it out. So I want to say to you, again, we are at that juncture that is not time to experiment. We have to look at what has been tried, tested, and found true. And the policies of the young administration are just that. I got the money and everything approved for Memorial Field. And Memorial Field didn't deteriorate the day before I got to office. Why hasn't it been finished? Why hasn't it been finished? And I'm sorry again that he's not here because he talked about the successes of what's going to happen with these projects. He forgot to tell you about Leveson Towers, how he negotiated that. That was a dismal failure that I had to come in and straighten out. He didn't talk about the Horizon, which sat there vacant until I got to office and we straightened that out. I came with a good plan. We put sound economic policies in place for the success of this city. I'm just so disappointed in Ernie that he would get out and disrespect you. Disrespect you. Listen to what people are saying. I understand you're hurting. This bus is being asked by Mr. Davis to be pushed by another 30% tax increase over the next 4 years. We can't take it. We can't take it. Now I want to say something to Fleetwood. You are partly responsible for what we are faced with today because Fleetwood did not come out and vote in the last mayoral election. You did not come out and vote. So we as a city have gotten what we paid for. The very last thing. And again, I'm just annoyed that he got up and walked out of here. Out of 19,000 municipalities in America, 19,000, in fact 19,429, we are the only community that has a mayor on probation.
Please hold down.
I want to thank the candidates who showed the courage to remain. I'd like to and thank them for all of their candid comments. I think this is a very eye-opening discussion. To moderate this event, and I'm going to turn it over to Roberta. Thank you.
Okay. Wait a minute. Everybody hold on. Richard, John, come on. I got the floor just this once. Hello. Folks, first of all, once again, thank you to the candidates who have come out to speak to the community. Finally, this is a wonderful thing. They're here. Take advantage.
Please.
Have a chat with them on your way out if you don't, you're missing a great opportunity. Once again, please thank the wonderful people at Riverside Chapel who have let us have this city. Two more things, folks. On next Monday,
Please.
and